Oh, hello, children. Gather round, because Uncle Sean is going to tell you a little tale. Today we're reading I'm Dreaming of a Black Christmas by Lewis Black. Seems like a nice fellow, right? Got a nice little Santa hat, chilling in his little home. He's even got a doggy. This should be nice. The chapter today is Meditations of a Jewish Santa. I have always felt somewhat isolated at Christmas time, so it would never cross my mind to play Santa Claus. Ever. It's not even a part that I was eager to play when it was offered to me. I mean, it would be a stretch for me, a big stretch. But you don't grow as an actor playing Santa. It doesn't lead to other roles. Did you see Lewis Black's Santa? It was the definitive Santa. Breathtaking. I'd love to see him play other really fat, jolly men. Who thought he had it in him? I certainly didn't. Maybe it's because I was raised Jewish, though not severely Jewish. We were the no, we are not bringing a Christmas tree, Hanukkah bush, or any other tree to this house kind of Jewish. I don't even remember even asking my parents if we could have a tree. But even if I did, the answer would have been no. Those were the rules, and that was about as Jewish as we got. Even as I've grown older and shared in the Christmases of my friends or my girlfriend's families, I have never felt a part of the multitude of joys that seem to infuse the Christmas season. People can call it the holiday season all they want, but the feeling of Christmas has always passed me by, like the last empty cab in the middle of a thunderstorm. One really shouldn't say Merry Christmas, these idiots say. To be truly politically and socially correct, one should say Happy Holidays. Really? We're awash in a series of problems that make this the most crippling decade I've lived through. We're pounded with so much information every second of our lives that we have forgotten what the facts are. We spent 10 years bleeding ourselves dry as we fought extraneous wars that had nothing to do with reality, let our nation's infrastructure and educational systems rot and crumble, bloated our healthcare system until it's beyond repair, and our economy has barely survived greed of epic proportions. So in the midst of all this, we feel the urge to argue over the use of the word Christmas at Christmas time? Are we totally fucking sane? Does anybody honestly think that somehow this debate will change the world, or make it a better place? Let me make it easy on you. It's Christmas time. Christmas time. You have the inalienable right, as granted by our Constitution, to happy whatever you want. It makes no difference to life on this planet or the indifferent universe we find ourselves stumbling through if you spout Merry Christmas rather than Happy Holidays. You can say happy horseshit if you want to, if you're not within earshot of children or adult crybabies. As you can see, I don't even have the time or the energy to muster a rational argument against such inexcusable bullshit. Think about it another way. By putting the mute button on a simple Merry Christmas, you destroy the sense of separation that gives me such joy. For one brief moment in the expression of just 2 words, I am made unique by nothing I had done, just by being born. It could be the reason I have no real feeling for Christmas is the claustrophobic and cloying warmth of it all. The soundtrack at this time of year clogs one's ears with an overly sweet syrup of songs about homes too happy for my taste and hearths too inviting to be believed. I'm surrounded by too many people who are just a little too happy to see each other, even though they have never seen each other before in their lives. All of a sudden, after making it through another dismal year of none of this type of what a joy it is to be alive behavior, it's all way too hard for me to believe it's real, or to stomach. It's all beyond my comprehension. Or it could be I'm just a jaded prick who doesn't believe in the magic this season possesses. Yeah, that sounds about right. I've never thought much of Santa Claus. Jewish parents make absolutely sure that their children will never believe in him during their formative years. If Jewish children did, imagine the madness that would ensue. We could bring down Judaism just by demanding that our parents recognize the reality of Santa Claus. But that will never happen, as Jewish parents destroy the whole idea of a gift-giving saint with the simplicity of pure logic. Really, how come there's a different little Santa at every mall and store we go to, huh? They say. Or, if there's a Santa, then there's only one Santa. There shall be no other Santas before you except the one true Santa. But he doesn't exist because he isn't there. This one's nice too. If you really think there's a Santa, why don't you sit on the front steps all night in the freezing cold and see if he climbs down any chimneys tonight? Good luck. And since we're a family that isn't lucky enough to have a chimney, how would Santa get into our house? Does he bring a locksmith with him? And it would probably have to be a Jewish locksmith, because a Christian locksmith is going to want to be home with his family. And how many Jewish locksmiths are there? None. Woo. As a result, by the time I was 5, I knew that Santa was just some infinite cartoon figure. Or a slob in a red suit with bad breath who hung out at the mall. As my parents tormented me, I tormented my Christian friends by harassing them for their ignorant, blind belief in a non-existent Kris Kringle. It was fun bursting their bubble. If my parents were going to take away a bit of the innocence of my youth, well, then I was going to do the same to my friends. So it was more than strange that 4 decades later I found myself on a film set, stuffing myself into a fat suit, then putting on the red suit, the beard, and getting ready to play Santa Claus in the movie Unaccompanied Minors. There is something daunting about donning the outfit of old St. Nick and all that entails. There is also something completely idiotic about it. Well, except for the shiny boots. I admit I kinda dug the boots. Yet there I was, the red-faced man of anger. And anger, verging perpetually on a stroke, transformed suddenly to the red-faced man of jolliness and mirth. The irony was inescapable. There is a certain release one experiences when one is given the opportunity to actually expel a few ho-ho-hos into the air as Santa Claus, and thanks to the whole get-up, one doesn't look like an asshole. However, you just can't stand on the street bellowing ho-ho-ho without some real trouble hitting your way. Trust me on this one. It's not as liberating as letting a few fucks fly, but it will do in a pinch if you're willing to look like an idiot. There's also something nice about taking off a fat suit and feeling like you lost weight, so that your own fat doesn't seem so fatty anymore. It's a thinner fat. For a moment I felt lean and mean again, even young, but that good feeling passed as soon as I put on my own pants again. Still, when I was in costume, the cast and the extras had to act like this was all very real, and that I was Santa Claus himself. The scene didn't even call for me to contend with kids sitting on my lap. Thank God. Wasn't sure I could really handle that end of the Santa package. Then I had to. Fast forward several years. Once again I found myself putting on the fake fat for a holiday special I hosted for the History Channel called Surviving the Holidays with Lewis Black. I was to play an actual Santa at a New York store. Now there were real kids. Wide-eyed, sad-eyed, cross-eyed, snot-ridden, full of wonder, full of fear, full of life. Real-life kids. Sitting there in Santa's chair, all dressed up like old St. Nick himself, you look down into the eyes of these kids, who are staring at you as if you really are who you're pretending to be. You start to realize that there's something eerie about the whole experience, being awash in all that innocence, that hope. Especially when you're the one who's never bought into any of this happy claptrap. It was a real test of my acting ability, and I didn't think I was up to it. After all, I'm not Mr. Warm and Fuzzy. I found it exhausting, and you can't fool kids. It's bizarre at best to be a middle-aged Jew dressed up as Santa Claus whose job it is to ask a kid what he wants for Christmas, knowing full well you can't deliver the goods. I pretty much felt like the head of FEMA during the Katrina crisis. So here I was, potentially setting these youngsters up for a bitter disappointment. As their little feet scuttled down the stairs on Christmas morn, only to find that the kitten, the favorite doll of the year's greatest new toy, or the miniature pony that they asked for and you said would be delivered, isn't there. You created expectations that wouldn't be fulfilled, and were never going to be by the likes of you. You might as well have taken a shit under the tree for all the goodwill you created. You destroyed their Christmas. Or maybe you should look at it in a more positive light. Maybe, you conclude, you prepare those children for what truly lies ahead for them. Disappointment and despair. Learning that at an early age will leave them better prepared for real life than that happy kid who got the new virtual reality hoo-ha that everyone wants but is so tough to find. But he got it. That hardly ever happens. Stores run out of it, just like doctors will someday when they hand out, say, the cancer vaccine. By the time they get to you, sorry, we ran out. Bastards. After playing Santa twice, I can't figure out who enjoys being Santa. In the end, you're just a big, fat, compulsive liar. You're no savior. You're just leading a child to his first disappointment, the first of many. Soon the child's eyes are open and he's screaming at his parents. Santa's not real? Are you shitting me? Who ate the cookies and milk all those years? You, Dad? Why, you son of a bitch! Though I've never experienced this happy moment of revelation, even I know it's got to be tougher than losing one's virginity. This is the moment when the trust and the faith that you had in your parents, your guardians and protectors, can't be relied on anymore. What else have they been lying to me about? Are they even my parents? Maybe I'll fall asleep one night, wake up in the next morning in a ditch by the side of the road. There'll be a note from them that says, "Don't worry, Santa will come pick you up in a minute unless you were sleeping when he arrived to get you. Santa doesn't like that. He'll just be on his merry way. So goodbye, good luck. Oh, by the way, we aren't real either. Guess I won't be sleeping anymore." So on the set, I sat there and ho-ho-hoed as I lifted each one of those kids onto my knee. They looked into my eyes with a mixture of bewilderment, joy, and deep-seated mistrust. Some of them just seemed to be in panic mode, and some of them knew it was all bullshit. Yet they were ready to expound on all their wishes, from the most materialistic to wanting there to be world peace. I sat through all of it, gasping for air through a beard that I swear was made from recycled fiberglass. And the costume I wore had apparently been dipped in some sort of heavy-duty industrial sealant. It had all the breathability of a rubber suit. My pores were weeping as I stewed in my own juices, sweating like a porker. After a while, your brain can't stop screaming, "It's fucking hot as hell," as you gaze down at the child in your lap and try to utter, with some semblance of a smile on your face, "And what would you like Santa to bring you for Christmas?" Kalu snapute. What did you say? I didn't hear you, my dear little angel. I didn't hear you because all I can hear are the screams from my overheated scalp. Or maybe they're coming from that area that lies between my brain and my skull. Maybe it's just because as much as I want to, I don't really give a shit. And a yelp shit the foodie kona sukala puche frume and ha 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 tee. Oh yes, I will get you the foodie and everything else you asked for, I reply, praying that I'm close to understanding what the kid asked for. What's a foodie? I don't know, you asked for it, and you're going to get it. Sweat pours down my brow like water over Niagara Falls. I feel like I'm running a marathon while basking in my own perspiration. The whole thing isn't right. I am dying. Right now, dressed in a fat suit and fake beard, I am dying. No one sweats like this and lives. Please get this kid off my lap before I'm forced to tear these clothes off so I don't die of heat stroke. Who the hell does this to themselves more than once? What sadistic world do we live in that allows such abuse to occur? A raging alcoholic is who? Someone who throws back 6 tumblers of Chablis before going to work and brings with him a flask filled with creme de menthe just to get through the day. It's the only way you could possibly stand this. I drink, therefore I am Santa. I know you're not supposed to drink around kids, which is why I didn't. But to do this more than once demands more mind-altering substances than I have access to. After playing Santa, I now think that at the end of that wonderful old movie, Miracle on 34th Street, when Maureen O'Hara and John Payne realize that the nice old man played by Edmund Gwenn is actually Santa, they should do the human thing. Electrocute him. Well, wasn't that a nice story, children? Seems like a nice fella, right? Played Santa Claus and, you know, he seemed to be really for kids. So, check out this book and maybe I'll read some more of it one day. Goodbye.